はい、こんばんは。木曜日特集へようこそ。Hello,
Hello
welcome to Thursday Talk Show. We are your host for today. 私はマルハと申します。スランゴールから来ました。今、マレーシア日本語学院、マレーシア帝京日本語学院に勉強しています。よろしくお願いします。
はい、皆さん、Mimi です。I'm from Kedah. I just finished matriculation and currently waiting for my result. 今、休みです。はい。
はい。
そして、So, what do I do with all my free time? Well, of course, I went all out watching animes and reading mangas. マルハさん、アニメと漫画好きですか？
いや、めっちゃ好きですよ。とても好きですよ。
Well, aren't you curious about how the character is made?
Yeah, totally. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah, lucky for you today, we have our special guest to tell us all about it.
Oh, really? I think I know who he is.
A bit introduction for our guest today.
Today we'll be having an interview with Jason Chan, a third-year student at OCA Osaka Design and Technology 専門学校.
Okay, ありがとうございます。
Yeah.
Let's welcome.
Yeah, he's taking a course in game graphic and character design. So yeah.
So now let's welcome him to our show.
Hello.
Hi, hello, ジェイソン
こんば
さん。
んは。
こんばんは、ジェイソンさん。木曜日特集にようこそ。よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。
本日インタビューを受けてくださってありがとうございます。早速ですが、まず一言でご挨拶をいただきたいと思います。
はい。皆さんはじめまして。私の名前はジェイソンと申します。今年はもう学校で3年生で、もうすぐ来年卒業する予定です。そのために今は結構忙しくて、プロジェクトをいろいろやって、休む時間がほぼない。
そうですね。はい。お元気ですか？
元気よ。ちょっと疲れてるけど元気。
晩ご飯食べましたか？
ちょうどハンバーガー2個食べただけ。
私もハンバーガー食べました。半分だけでした。ゆみさんは何を食べましたか？晩ご飯で。
ご飯です。ご飯だけ。
はい。そうですね。じゃあ、質問ですね。ミミさんから質問ありますか？そうですね。はい。ないんですか？
ないです。
じゃあ、私から質問です。どうして日本へ進学を選びましたか？
簡単に言うと、日本ではゲームやアニメが結構有名で、自分のゲームを作りたいので、いつか日本のゲーム会社入って、自分のゲームを作れるならいいと思うし、そして、会社で働いていろんなゲームを、手を加えて、自分のそのゲームができれば嬉しいと思います。だから日本で、進学をした。
そうですか。
今何を勉強していますか？
今はゲームグラフィックキャラクターデザインのコースを勉強して、大体は名前通りにゲームの背景 か、そのイラストか、そのキャラクターデザインと、そのキャラクターモデリングも勉強してる。
そうですか。面白そうですね。じゃあ、今もちろん毎日日本語を使っていると思いますが、最初に日本語を学んだきっかけは何ですか？
まあ、やっぱりアニメですね。
そうですね。
多分13歳ぐらい ?13 歳の
おー。
頃、ちょっとアニメやちょっと興味になって、そこから、ちょっと、ああの、あの、両親が、もし、勉強したいなら、クラスを行ってもいいよと言われて、
いいですね。
いつか日本で勉強してと言われて、まあ、少し、毎週一回のクラスがあって、そこで勉強した。でも、PBT に入ったら、その学校をちょっとやめて、そして、PBT でほぼ毎日学校行って日本語を勉強した。
そうですね。私もPBT の学生ですから、勉強の大変さがわかります。はい。じゃあ、日本語の勉強はどうでしたか？今、何が一番大変でしたか？前、何が一番大変でしたか？今も、もしあったら何が大変ですか？その理由は何ですか？
日本語の勉強で、一番難しかったのは多分、文法かな。覚えられない部分が多くて、だんだん使って、まあ、勉強している間はちょっと難しかったけど、日本に来てから、ほぼ毎日日本語を使って、だんだんちょっと慣れるようになったので、それが良かった点かな。今大変のは、時々、相手は日本人だから、時々話すスピードがすごく速いので、時々、そう思っちゃいました。
わかりました。じゃあ、そしてそれをどうやって乗り越えましたか？その大変さが。
まあ、ほぼ毎日日本語を使っているので、だんだん聞き慣れて、だいたいこれ言ってるかなと思って、慣れたらいけると思います。
はい、なるほど。わかりました。じゃあ、ミミさんからの質問。
ジェイソンさんはイラストを描くことが好きですね。いつイラストを描き始めたですか？
大体は学校に入ったからかな。学校に入る前、入学する前に、マレーシアでちょっとだけ絵を描いてたけど、日本に来て、入学してから、さらにいろんな課題が出て、先生から、これ書いて、あれを書いて、いろいろ言われて、イラストを描き始めた。そうです。
そしてどんなイラストを描きますか？その理由は？
キャラクターを作るのが好きので、キャラクターを作って、そしてそのキャラクターのイラストを描くことが面白いと思うので、それが好き。
はい。その絵を描くときとか、キャラクターをデザインするときは、どんな気持ちがありますか？好きですが、どういう気持ちとか、どんな感じがしますか？
複雑な気持ちだけど、簡単な言葉にするなら、自分のキャラクターに命を与えるぐらい。間に、ただキャラクターを描くだけではなく、いろんなことを見て、このキャラクターはどんなところから来たか、名前は何ですか、 どんなどんな力が持っているか、どんな人とか、いろいろその性格を見て、それを全部デザインして、そしてから色を考えて、いろいろデザインして、それが楽しい
楽しい。
うーん。
楽しいです。楽しいですね。楽しそうですか？はい。はい。じゃあ、should we switch to English? As many
Okay.
students dream of furthering their career in the anime industry. So,
英語大丈夫？
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Firstly, I really wonder, did your parents really agree to your decision for taking up this course?
Short answer, yes. Long
Oh,
answer, no, then yes.
ah,
if no, then how did you manage to convince them?
Basically, they want at the start they wanted me to learn something like international relationships.
ah,
They
ah,
wanted me to study something. They wanted me to study something that was more stable, more safe.
mm,
So it
Mm,
wasn't something risky like this like what I'm going into now. They thought if I was good because I understand where they're coming from since I'm going to a different country to study. They're using a lot of their money, and
yeah,
mm,
they probably don't want to risk it on if I don't get a job. Then what?
ah,
There'll be a lot of money wasted. So at first they wanted me to study something more stable. So they said go study something like international relationships.
ah,
So I was like, okay, I'll go talk to my teachers about that. And I told my teachers, my parents wanted me to study this and that. They immediately said, nah.
eh?
They-
Why?
my teachers told me, you're probably not going to like this. You're not going to pay attention because of that. You should
yeah,
study something you like that you can pay attention in, so that you actually put in the effort. I was like, okay. And so I started telling my parents about what I wanted to study. So I told them about the school OCA,
mm,
and at first, of course, they didn't want me to study there. They said it was too risky. It
Mm-hmm.
was there was a high chance I wasn't going to get a job. So we it was a back and forth for several months, and then
Oh.
slowly they found out that I actually want to do this. I'm actually trying to draw more and more. And so it's like,
mm,
okay, fine, we'll let you in,
mm,
but you have to make sure you study well, uh, put in the effort because you're putting in a lot of money.
Mm-mm.
So make sure you do well in your studies. It's
mm.
going. So right now it's going well.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear.
So you did prove to your parents, I'm doing fine right now.
Yeah. So, I was wondering, how did you find out about this course? Because usually we've heard of anime or manga drawing course or animation course, but this is very specific on character design. So, how did you find about this course and why did you choose this course?
Well, they this school does have a a mangaka course where you draw a manga, and there's also a part where you can do the animation and stuff. So basically anime
Oh.
and stuff.
Mm.
There is that, but I was doing my own research because at first this is what I wanted to do. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make an anime, I'm gonna make a manga or something. But I
Mm.
went to do some research to slowly figure things out, to plan things out properly, because I was still in the process of I have to convince my parents to let me go to Japan to study this. So
Mm.
I was doing research, and it turns out that doing animation and manga is very risky.
Uh,
You have
yeah.
to be
Oh.
very good so that when you debut, you have to be good enough that when you debut, people will like your stuff, and you also need to be lucky enough that someone picks up on your work. So
Yeah.
if you can, even if you're very good and but you're not lucky, and you might not get noticed, and you're gonna be stuck
Oh.
without you're gonna be stuck not being on a very unstable start, which is
Yeah.
which is a bit more dangerous. So I looked through this, and I came across this school from some education fairs several times actually. I came across this school, and I looked through what they had, and I found they had a 3-year course on game design, character design, and graphics and stuff. So I looked through it, and then it was a more it sounds specific, but it's actually quite broad in terms of what you do, because what I learned things like how to draw backgrounds, character design, and also character modeling. So I actually work on 3D projects as well. So I design a character from scratch, and so it goes in 2D, and then I go into another program and model out the character based on what I draw into a 3D model, and I can actually make the model move by doing stuff.
Wow.
You have
That
to put in
sounds a lot.
you have to put in a skeleton into the model so that you can move, and then you have to do a lot of settings to make sure it moves correctly. So yeah, it's quite fun actually.
It sounds fun.
It's fun, but it can be frustrating at times because you can spend it one model, just one model from this. From designing it will take a couple of days to design the character, and then modeling the character will take about another few days, and then making sure the character can move will take another few days, and then drawing the texturing, so like how the hair looks, the eye, the clothes, and you have to draw all that, and then put it into the character will also take a few more days, and then doing a lot of settings will take you at least a month to make sure the whole model works properly.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
It's
Just for one character.
Yeah, just for one.
Wow.
That's new. That's a new information for me.
Yeah. I didn't expect this because I too love character designs. I like to analyze into the characters' designs, but I didn't know this much effort was needed.
Well, if you're just doing the character design part, you can. There's also a lot you can go through. Like, say, you look at where the character is from. So in a world, in your own world, maybe you have a race of elves. Maybe you look at elves, and then you look at, okay, so how do I design it to look like an elf? So pointy ears. Maybe you choose a lot of green. You have magic. You have a lot of grass and stuff and leaves. You can design based on that, and then from there you have a design. You have a character, and then you need a name. And you don't, when it comes to naming, you can't just put a name you want. But there are times where you can choose. Okay, what language can I reference? Maybe where can I get a name that fits well with the character? So maybe you can go to ancient Norse, maybe the Norse god of fertility. You had Freya, so you can, okay, let's use this god, use the name and put it on this character, and maybe this character has something to do with plants, so fertility and stuff. So there's a lot of things you can do with character design. You can play with a lot of things to make your character more than just a design, but an actual character.
Yes, that's true. I think it gives more depth to a character.
And that will be, you really need a lot of imagination for that. You're not simply just, let's just put this. I see a grass. Let's name his grass. Oh my god.
I mean,
that is
all you need is some imagination and Google.
So
that's right. Yeah, should we move on with the next question? Mimi-san.
How was the course? Like, was it as expected? Yeah, you do say that you have a lot of fun, but before and after, like, I was imagining, is it something like this or not? So
let's say at the start I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna go for 2D. So I was gonna do a lot of drawings and illustrations. And then I saw some of my classmates and it's like, oh god, they are very good. So they draw very well. And there's actually one of my classmates uh is an actual mangaka. She used to draw actual manga.
Oh,
Another classmate is from Korea, and she came from a company from Korea. She thought to
Wow.
herself, okay, I'm going to stop work for a while. I'm going to come to this school and see what else I can learn. So every time I see what she draws, it's like, oh no, I have a lot more to do.
oh, that must
So
be so pressuring, right?
it's high pressure when you see some of your classmates doing very very good art. It's there's a bit of pressure. There were some times where it's like, oh, I might have made a wrong choice coming here or something. But then we went into as the year as the year went by, we went through more classes. We went through things like backgrounds and then character designing and then modeling. At first, I thought modeling was very difficult. I didn't understand what was going on because I'm used to 2D. This is 2D and one more, so that's 3D. We have
Oh,
one more phase. I have to. I can't. You can't just if you're doing 2D, you can do maybe a bit of, uh, you can hide things. If you're maybe you can't draw this side very well, so you use something to put over it, so you can't see.
so
It's like
cool.
it's not there. You're fine. But 3D, you can't see it from here, but you can see it from here.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh my
So
god,
if you
yeah.
just turn and then you be, oh no, I can still see it. So you have to make sure 3D you model it out very accurately, and then uh, I slowly got more and more interested in 3D. So from the second year on, I made more and more. I just started doing more designs, and then from those designs, making models. We had uh, we had an assignment. The very first day we came into school, for the second year, our teacher was like, "Okay, we have an assignment already."
Oh,
And then the teacher said, "We are going to make an idol character, a character that can dance."
wow.
Oh,
So you have you have 2 weeks to come up with a character design, and then from there you have to do the entire model by a certain time, and then if it's good enough, your model will be put on display. There will be a screen during an exhibition the next year, and you will see, and then your models you will be dancing in on the screen.
oh,
So
Wow.
I managed to complete the model, and then
wow.
it was done within 2 months or so, two
Wow.
2-ish months, and then it was dancing. So everyone else was still working on the model. So I had a bit of free time. So I just thought to myself, oh, let's just design something new. And I just started designing and designing. And then the summer holiday came in. Just before the summer holiday, the teacher said, um, we for the after the summer holiday, we're going to start on our next project.
Wow.
It's going to be a battle character. So a character that would fight. It just so
Wow.
happened that when I had my free time, I was designing a character that could fight. So I
Ah,
told
Oh.
myself, I have the
lucky.
holiday. I have the holiday. Let's spend the holiday making the character. So I went through the entire holiday, and and when the holiday ended, I already had the character ready to be colored. The model was there. All I had to do was just work on it a bit more. So everyone just started. I already had a model. I finished that model, and then I made a second model.
Oh,
I got bored, so
wow.
I made one
Uh,
more model, and things went a bit more difficult from there because that model had a lot of problems.
Oh my.
oh.
Uh, 3 times the data corrupted.
Ouch.
I had 3 data corruptions. The file didn't save properly a few times. I had entire times I had to redo certain parts of the character twice.
Oh,
So by
what?
the end of the year, I finally finished the 2 remaining characters. I was like, okay, it is by some divine miracle I managed to finish this character. I am not going to touch it. If I do, the computer might explode. So let's not touch it. So
Oh.
there's a lot of work when it comes to 3D. It's fun. So
Mm.
Oh.
so
Uh,
I basically went from 2D to 3D, and it was different from what I expected from what I had coming into this school. I thought maybe okay, I'm gonna do 2D, but instead now I'm in the 3rd year and I'm still doing 3D, but also with 2D. It's better
oh,
to be able to do both 2D and 3D, so that you have a better chance of work basically.
I
If you can only
see.
do
I see.
I mean, if you can only do A, you can only go for a job that can do A. If you can do B, you can have a job that does B. If you can do A and B, you have a bigger scope of what you can do.
I agree.
I was kind of shocked when you said that the first assignment is already a character who can dance. I thought like maybe walking or just
Wow.
running, some simple action, but then dance it need a lot of move. Oh my god, how are you supposed to do that?
For the animation, the teacher will give you an animation. You just need to make sure your character can move and move
Oh.
Oh,
properly.
so there's a reference for it.
Mm.
There will be.
You don't get a reference of the character. You have a motion. So
I see.
Oh.
the teacher would show you this is the motion from the previous students. They'll show you okay, this is the model they made and this is how they move. So
Mm,
now you need to make something similar, and we did.
that's
I
truly
see.
amazing.
So, do you think you're glad that you took this 3D course instead of the 2D course?
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
because it's rough. 2D is very hard actually.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. The pressure is hard. Mm.
So because I can't beat my classmates in 2D, I decided let's work on
Mm.
3D and see how
Oh,
far I can go from there.
I see. So I was about to ask you about what you studied in this course and how you design the character. But I think you already talked a lot about it just now. But if you have anything to add, like if there are any points about your course that you haven't touched, or if you can talk more specific on the process of designing a character, you can. Do you have anything to add?
Let's see. Specifics about designing the character. Let's see. I do have a story of my own.
Mm.
Uh,
oh,
I have I've been working on my own story for several years actually, and from there we have there are 7 characters in that story, and
Mm.
each of them are based on. I mean, they're not based on something, but they correspond. There's something similar with uh, the major arcana, basically tarot cards. You have
oh,
22 of them, and
Oh.
7 of them correspond to the main characters basically. And basically, I was looking at okay, so how do I design these 7 characters so that they are similar but also different. They have to share the same
Mm.
theme. Uh,
mm,
they have to look similar, but all of them have their own unique parts. So how do I make
Mm.
it that way? So it's like, oh, the main character has a bit more experience, so the armor is a bit more worn out. There's
mm,
another
Mm.
character that is indecisive. So you see that in her clothes, there's one side that is like this, but the other side is different. It's
Ah.
asymmetrical. And then
Ah.
oh,
we have a character that's a bit more proud, a bit arrogant, and then you see that
uh,
it has a bit more flashiness to it.
Mm.
Uh, there's one that's a shrine maiden, uh,
oh,
a bit
Oh.
there's a shrine maiden in the story, and you see that her outfit is is more reminiscent of a shrine maiden. You have the shimenawa, the rope, and then you see that she uses a talisman, and she has a sort of ceremonial item known as a gohei, and then you see that she holds that as a weapon. So
Oh.
design you have to design the characters based on how they not just how they just not just on what they represent, but also how their personalities are. So
Hmm.
if it's we have a character that's more flashy, we have a character that's calm, and then we have a very active character. So maybe and then we look at the colors. The main character is black and purple, and then
Oh.
she has a younger sister that's very outgoing, active. So she's red, and then there's another one that's yellow because she's a bit more tsundere, maybe you can say that. And then we have a character that's still very pure. She doesn't know too much. She's the youngest character, so it's white.
Ah.
So color you can play with colors, you can play with names, you can play with designs. Yeah, character design is fun like that.
I see.
All those little stuff will like differentiate each of the character, right?
Yep.
Like just some details like, oh, you need to be more like this so that
Yeah.
people could see you as someone. I see. I did see a lot like that. Okay. I guess we have. Yeah. I wanted to ask you. Can you show us some of your drawing?
Okay.
Would that be okay?
Okay.
And give us some insight behind these characters.
Okay.
Although you already talked a bit, but oh,
Wah, kawaii.
So this character is I gave her the name of Maya. So Maya. Okay, so let's go through the simple process of the character design here. You'll notice that it looks like space, right? Basically,
Yeah.
there's a black hole, two of them, one on a hat, one on the wand, staff, and then you see there's a lot of stars, moons, and stuff. So Maya, this name would definitely have something to do with that, and Maya is one of the seven stars in the Pleiades cluster.
Oh, okay, I see.
So this is also known. There's also the seven Pleiades sisters.
Yeah,
So
17.
Maya is one of them. So you'll see that this is you'll see that. So her name is Maya, and if you notice that her hair and there's a lot of blue on her,
Yeah.
it's because the star Maya is a blue supergiant.
Ah,
And
I see.
I'm not sure if you can see it very clearly, but on her, if you see the numbering on her shirt, on the skirt area, you'll see that there's a part that says B8III. This, yeah, it's actually the spectral type of the star itself. So
Oh,
blue B meaning is a blue star, and then and then there's a number behind it that states which of the stars it is. So
oh,
and then what else do we have is that her nickname or code name in whatever's in the story that she's in is Walpurgis. Walpurg that's her nickname. Walpurgis from a what's it called? It's a thing from called Walpurgis Nacht. A
is it
event.
Norse?
No, it's not quite Norse. It's a German something from Germany.
German.
And you'll see that her Walpurgis Nacht is an event that starts on the evening on Sunday, and it starts on April the 30th, and then will end on the evening of May the 1st. It's
just a short period.
It's a very short period called Walpurgis Nacht, and this also ties into her name Maya, because
Mm.
during this time the horoscope of the year is Taurus,
Ah, Taurus.
and
Mm-hmm.
within the Taurus constellation, the
Mm.
Pleiades cluster is actually somewhere there inside the Taurus. So Maya is part of Taurus. It's also
Wow.
that time,
Oh.
so her name is also Valpurgis, and I gave
Oh.
her I made her birthday on the April 30th basically.
Wow.
Ah.
Oh my god, there's a lot of connection.
Yeah, there's a lot of info you put it into one character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I
it's a bit of a shame that I can't make this character a bit bigger, because her
mm.
eyes actually has the Taurus constellation drawn inside of them.
Oh.
Oh, that's
Wait, can we
no.
zoom? Or we can okay.
So
Oh, I
this is basically how I design characters.
wow.
There's a lot of details. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. Eh,
Just and then
so cute.
this is an older character of mine. This is what I designed for the idol character a few years.
Mm.
So this is who was dancing back then.
Mm.
Oh.
So this was just a small winter idol. So I just gave her some simple winter outfit. You will see that she has a very puffy jacket,
Mm.
and there's a lot of fluffiness all around, just to make it more winter themed basically. And you'll see that she has a pair of skiing goggles basically,
Oh.
because she's from a a place with a lot of snow basically.
Mm.
So the idea is that she's an idol, but also that she has a bag full of letters. So she's
Yeah.
basically a bit of a she delivers letters across the country just by skiing
Oh.
around.
Oh.
Oh,
Eh,
that's
but
interesting.
how is she supposed to dance? Is she dance with the bag together with her?
Yeah, she will dance with the bag. So in the screen you actually see the bag just jumping about.
Oh, okay, okay.
That would be
That's
so cute.
And I
hmm.
thought to myself, how do I make it cuter? And I just thought, let's give her a hat.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
with ears. Yeah.
So this is how I designed it, and her name, and if you look, her eyes actually have a snowflake in them.
Oh,
Oh
oh my god, there's so much detail. I wish I can
yeah,
see them.
it's a very intricate design, and I appreciate that so much.
Even on her zipper, there's like a snowflakes. I think was it?
Yep. I
Mm.
put some snowflakes here and there. You will see that there's also one on her goggles.
Oh, Google, yeah.
Mm. That's very interesting.
Hmm.
So now that we've seen how hard and difficult it is and how challenging it is to design character and animate into 3D, so I want to know what's your biggest motivation while pursuing this course? Like, do you have any vision or goals you want to achieve?
Well, personal goals. I want to. I mean, it's not a bit more of a practical goal. I want to get into a game company, and I want to be part of
Mm,
them making games basically. So I can.
mm,
Uh, I've been applying to different companies, seeing if I can join. Not much luck yet, but I'll get there
oh,
sooner or later. But my goal is to get a job here in Japan where I can make games. And it was
mm,
if it turns to the point where I can't find a job here, I have one more year to find a company, and if even that fails, maybe I'll see if I can go to another country.
Oh,
mm,
Maybe somewhere I can get some more jobs make with games. There's Taiwan, yes. Korea is also catching up, and then
mm,
there's also US, because
mm.
US is expensive there, but I can speak its English.
Yeah.
English
yeah.
is easy.
You need to learn Korean back. I
Yeah,
Mm,
see.
so English is easier for me. So I guess there's a chance there. So I'm hoping. But
So,
if you're talking about personal goal, I want to be able to start my own game company. I want to make my own
Wow.
games, and I write stories here and there, and so maybe I want to make. So if I get a chance, I want to use my stories and turn them into games, so I can have more people enjoying them.
mm, so that's your biggest motivation so far. You want to start your own company and be an independent game designer.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, I'll also have to start learning more about business if I want to do it, because
Yeah.
uh, it's not, you can't just say I want to start a business and
It
ta-da.
happened. Yeah. There's a lot of work having to just to start a business. There's a lot of things you have to take.
Yeah,
You have to know about.
it's easy to say, but
Yeah.
it's hard to do.
It's hard to do. Yeah.
Can you, is there anything else? Because I would like to move on to this kind of interesting question
Mm.
too.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay?
it's okay. Yeah.
Uh, does having an extra language help in this character design?
uh I would say yes, because
Mm-hmm.
say you only know English, maybe you can design characters. You can design a lot of characters, but maybe you can design some futuristic characters. You can go for modern casual characters. You can go maybe some old England, some noble characters. You can go maybe the Victorian era. You can go for steampunk. You can have a lot of names. But if you if you go for some other culture, say maybe Japan, you can't stick
Mm.
an English name on a Japanese character. I mean, you
Mm.
can, but it doesn't feel so right.
Real.
Basically,
Yeah.
you can't have some samurai and call him Bob. If you know more than one language, you can play around with the language. You can find out more names. So personally, I know English, Japanese, Chinese, Malay, and then a bit of German. So I'm also working on seeing what names I can go for. Uh, what names I can have in German. I have a character called Flora, which basically
Oh.
means flower in Japan.
Mhm.
So I have in Japan, in German. so I'm working on those names as well, and occasionally I also see what names I can have apart from what I know. Apart from what languages I know, so maybe Latin. Uh,
Mm.
we
Oh.
have so I have I go online and see what name how to get names. We have how words are translated into different languages, and see what I can go from there into a name. So maybe I the word fire is ignis in Latin. So
Mm.
I can
Oh.
use that in a name. So having more knowledge about languages does help. If you can't speak it, it's fine, but you can always use Google Translate, find words, and then
But
you can also
sometimes it might be accurate.
and you can
Mm.
also,
Mm.
I mean, a great way is to look like baby name sites. They will show you
Oh.
what names from what countries and what they mean and popularity.
Mm. I
So
see.
there's a lot you can go through.
I see. Because I think that language is a tool for you to know more about a culture, right? So if you want to design a character with this culture or that culture, you have to know that language a bit so you can learn more about the culture, right?
Yep.
Mm.
I mean, if you don't know the language, you can mess around with the name, but knowing how to speak the language and knowing how the language works will definitely make the creating a character a lot easier.
Okay,
Mm.
I see.
But may I ask how you learn it effectively? Like how do you don't just like search on the YouTube like how to learn Japanese? Like I don't think that's
Yeah.
Mm.
easy. So how do
I
you learn other language?
Well, for me right now, I'm just personally learning a bit of German.
Mm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
an app called Duolingo.
Oh yeah.
So I basically use that and just learn German. And it's of course it's not as good as learning it officially. You go to class and you learn from the bare basics, and then you go on and on to more specific things. This is just for casual learning. I'm just learning it for fun because I got bored. I got bored one day and decided, let's learn German.
Oh, I
Wow.
see.
So,
I want.
but the biggest thing is practice. Basically, the more you practice the language, the better you are using it.
Yep.
So here I'm living in Japan. This is my second year and 3 months I've been here. So almost every day I speak in Japanese. So the more you use the language, the more you get used to it. So you eventually get better at that language. But if you so practice is important, I'd say.
I agree with that. Yeah. Now, should we move on to about Jason's future? Mimi, do you have any questions about that?
Mm, I do wanna ask you if do you have any future plan like joining character design industry? Yeah. I mean by that is like yeah you probably wanna join character design industry, but can you be more specific with it? Like well maybe.
Specifically, it's I guess like I said earlier, I plan on working here in Japan and
Mm,
going into the game industry. And for me, because I do mainly 2D and 3D, so
mm,
I can work on, say, character design or character modeling. So that's basically what I'm selling myself for. Uh, that's how I sell myself. I do character designs, character modeling, and I basically draw this and that. So that's how I plan on getting a job here in Japan, because backgrounds I don't really I can I'm not very good at drawing those, and
mm,
I'm not the best at drawing, so I can't really do much on the illustration side of things. So I'm just
mm,
betting on character design and modeling.
mm.
Mm,
I see. So now shall we see if the audience have any questions to ask?
mm,
How do you got to know there is a job as anime character design? Uh, s- the so basically I went through what's it called again? Educational fairs.
Mm,
Education fairs. Like there are some that they hold every now and then we see some schools from different countries even coming here. So the school I go to is part of it, and I go through the brochures and then I see, oh, they have this, they have this, they have that, and then they have a site on character design. I wouldn't call it a job as character design, but character design is part of the job. So you do the character design as part of what your workflow. Basically, you have character design, you have to draw the things, you have to model the things. So there's a lot. uh Basically I went simply put, how I came across this field from education fairs, and also just looking up online, seeing what I can find, because I didn't want to go through the more common jobs. It's like
mm,
it's like business. I don't know. I'm not interested. Uh, Banking. My math is terrible.
I see.
Relation is like politics. No. Uh, so there's a lot. I was thinking, okay, I want to do a job I'm interested in. So this is how I came across internet and
mm.
education fairs, basically.
Yeah, I also didn't know this course existed until I met you.
Mm, me too, me too.
Research is important.
Yeah,
Mm.
you need to know what you want to do in your life, right? Yeah, so next
how hard is
question.
it to how hard is the competition to secure a job in the manga industry? Uh, Quite, I'd say. Personally, I'm not in the field of doing manga, but I know you have in just I know I have some friends that are in the manga, they are studying manga, and then they say it is very difficult because you need to be able to draw very well and very fast. You have
Ah,
uh you have basically deadlines. You have to catch up to deadlines all the time. You have to keep drawing, and sometimes you have to just uh, crunch a lot of work at a very short period of time. You have to keep drawing, keep drawing, keep drawing. You don't have time for anything. You have to do a lot to just get things to just get the chapter out before the deadline. So it's very rough. And say you're not working for like a manga company, you're doing this by yourself. You need to one be able to draw, and then you need to be able to plan out how the panels have to go on the manga, and then you need to get you need to get the dialogue. You need to make sure you write it properly, and then you need to make sure you have a proper story. And basically, you have to make sure you do it well enough and plan everything out. Get it to a publisher who may or may not say who may or may not accept your work at all. They might just go, "Oh,
oh,
this is good enough. We don't. Sorry, we're not going to accept this." So you have to find someone who are willing to publish it.
Yeah.
oh,
After all that, there's still the chance that no one might read it.
oh.
So manga is very hard, but if you're lucky, and I've seen some people that were lucky enough that they give their work out, and it actually gets sold. They get copies, and it might work. So I won't say don't try the manga industry. It's hard, it's tough, but if you're if you persevere enough, and then you are lucky, there's luck involved in the game industry. There's always luck involved here. So make sure you work hard on this, and just hope you're lucky enough that people might notice your work. Hopefully this
Despite doing
answers the
all the
question.
work over. Oh, what's the
Sometimes
next
I
one?
feel like I have no inspiration or motivation to draw and design. Do you have any tips to get through this? Oh, you're Mia. Hello. Uh, no inspiration or motivation. Yeah, I go through that every now and then. There are times where I try to draw. I try to design something. It's like, okay, I need to do some work, and then I just spend the entire day on bed.
Oh,
There is nothing going through my brain. Help.
oh,
There are times where there are definitely times where you just get a complete block, like you just
Yeah.
slam your face into the
ah,
wall, like there's nothing there. But how to get through this? I'd say go go through the internet maybe. See if there's just Google maybe if you want to design something. Let's say you want to design a car, maybe it's like cool car designs or futuristic car designs, maybe sci-fi or old cars. You just look through what you get, and maybe something might pique your interest, and you're like, oh, I can try and draw this. Don't force yourself to draw, because if you try
mm,
and force yourself, you're gonna be stuck on this, and it's like, this is terrible, I don't want this. And you go again, and this is also terrible, and you keep forcing yourself. The more you force yourself, the worse it can the worse it can get, basically. But if you allow yourself to just relax a bit and get some inspiration somewhere, or worst case scenario, you can just not draw for that day. Maybe just do something else. Get some more ideas while you're doing something else. Maybe just have a walk. You might find inspiration.
so
Oh.
yeah, you have been there like the writer blocks for novelists, I think.
Yeah,
That
there's the writer's block and the artist block. You just get stuck completely.
と
How about one more question?
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Is there a future for creative design in Malaysia for the international market? I'd say possibly.
oh,
There have been some games coming up from Malaysia that is, so I'm guessing there might be a chance. And creative design, I'm pretty sure there might be. I mean, even like popular like pop culture, we have Ultraman. There's
Yeah.
I mean, a few years ago we saw a new Ultraman that originates from Malaysia. Basically,
oh,
we had a Malaysian Ultraman that does silat.
oh,
I didn't know that.
I was going through the internet, and I was going through Facebook, and I saw someone post it, Malaysian Ultraman. Oh my! And so I went to Google it. I saw it was actually doing silat moves, and I was like,
oh,
oh wow, it's Malaysian. Nice. So there definitely can be a chance. But how big, I'm not too sure. But it's possible, I'm guessing.
I pray that Malaysia's creative design industry will grow bigger so that a lot of Malaysians that are talented in this industry can, make more animations for our
Yeah.
country. Yeah,
Hopefully you can go through that.
hopefully. はい。もう、I guess that's the only questions we'll be taking for today. もうそろそろ時間ですね。最後の質問ですが、ジェイソンさんがお好きな日本語の言葉やフレーズがありますか？
自分が好きなアニメから、なせば大抵なんとかなる。If you try, you're likely to succeed. And I hold that to myself quite a bit. So as long as you're willing to try, you're gonna make progress. Because sure, it can be difficult. Sure, you might fail, but if you don't do anything at all, you're just stuck there. So this I didn't expect to have a phrase like this that would stick with me from coming from an anime, but hey, it works.
What anime is this from?
勇気言うのは勇者である. It's a very very nice anime called Yuki Yuna is a hero.
Oh, I'll check it out later.
Yeah, me too. That's kind of interesting.
Get some tissues ready. It's sad.
I see. じゃあ、本日本当にありがとうございます。Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming with us. Thank you
Yeah,
for sharing all your.
Yeah.
Hopefully, my advice might work for some of you. Hopefully, you found it. Hopefully, you found it educational, maybe.
Inspirational.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of our audience are more motivated right now listening to all this.
Just make sure all of you just work hard and be willing to try.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So we wish you all the best on your journey, Jason. And ありがとうございます。はい。
ありがとうございます。
はい。バイバイ。
Thank you.
Thank you so much.